I just clicked on start streaming. Can you check? It didn't prompt me for a key or anything.
You're live. Let's see. This is the most. Once again, our production value is so high, guys.
It'll
be better. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
We're live. Oh, hey everybody! Welcome to this week's Theta Thursday with Don and Mifune, as usual. I know we don't have a countdown this week because I don't know how to work that kind of stuff, but whatever. Anyways, we have some special guests this week. We have returning guests Ryak Adaria. We have Ragnar Schwarzkopf, the Queen of Mean in local chat. We have Brisk Rubal, which is
hi guys.
It's always a pleasure to have Brisk drop by, and we have a special guest this week, Villa Stranginito. Did I pronounce that right there, Villa?
Close enough.
Close enough. Villa's in TNT, and he's here to enlighten us on what kind of crazy shit goes on in Tactical Narcotics team.
Are you able to change the title of the stream to Theta Thursday instead of Push to Talk?
Is it not? I'll.
Whoops.
I have so much going on today. My brain is just kind of at a fart.
Ragnar noticed it. But doesn't say anything.
As soon as my laptop actually wants to load.
It'll be fine. Actually, I think technically Greg can do it since he can mod channel. So, but welcome everybody. It's been an interesting week. It's Thursday, Thirsty Thursday. Honestly, actually, this week's been pretty chill. So we're just gonna hang out for a while. Somehow we filled 2 hours of my birthday last week just talking about whatever I wanted to talk about. So clearly we have no problem talking. The biggest thing that happened this week, I think, is a patch finally hit. Anything else bigger than that this week so far?
Yeah, the formations. Have anybody used any of the formations yet? Because that's some pretty neat stuff. I know Dave was using them.
There's videos of phallic-like fleet formations.
Yes, there were penis formations.
And mammary gland formations.
Wait,
as well.
What?
Yep.
I feel like the biggest news of this week is that Ryak finally got a super carrier. So
you could not wait.
Welcome to literally the bare minimum in the Imperium. How do you feel, Ryak?
I'm ready for my F2 to really start happening.
Yeah. Good to hear.
Because my other alt, all it can fly right now is a Vigil. So I'll be in a super fleet.
That's your F2.
I'll be target painting shit. Yeah, you're like,
in the super fleet. You're like, hold on, guys, I got my little Vigil here too.
Hold on, yeah, I gotta fucking target paint this shit and be a force multiplier.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like after 300 super carrier fighters are shooting it doesn't really matter at that point.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But you guys don't have to say me complaining about not having a super anymore, so you guys should just be eternally grateful.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy that Ryak shuts up. That's good.
But it's just a hell. So
it's just a hell. It's not a real super.
Hey, Brisk, in a month I'll be able to afford all 3 other super carriers.
All right, very good.
Everybody makes more money than me.
The hell is the second best super anyway, so...
What's the first?
Oh, and Docs is here. I forgot to introduce Docs. Hey, Docs.
Well, the first one's the Wyvern. I only just got here, so...
The Wyvern is not the best super.
The best is the Aeon, because it never dies.
The Wyvern is objective.
The Aeon dies now with the changes.
What changes? Aeon's still tankier than the rest other than the Wyvern with Nirvana's in.
Sure.
And it's not like I'm even arguing for a super because it's my super. My super's a hell, but the Wyvern's still the best.
It was funny when they changed the sizes of just the Aeon that one time as a mistake. I have an Aeon, so I undocked it, and he took his hell, and he could actually hide his hell, the old model, behind my new model Aeon. It was pretty cute.
That's fantastic.
I felt like a shield. It was great. That's actually what the Aeon's lore is that it's got the big broad side to take hits to protect the little ships that are supposed to be coming out of it, because it's like an aircraft carrier. It's got a long runway and everything on it.
Yeah, but
it's supposed to be used as a shield.
Finished.
It's a shame it has no tank.
My super has a roof on top of it. Okay.
Your super is a roof.
No, it has a roof on top, so it's the best one.
So
no, it's literally just like it's like someone
runway?
just took the siding off of the house. See what happens, Ryak, is CCP just kind of scraped the siding off of $1 million house, and there you go. They said this is the hell.
Big shout out to Bromander Data, who has subscribed for 8 months with his Prime. Thank you very much, dude. We appreciate the love.
Don't encourage Bromander. Get out of here.
He's been hanging out with us lately.
Bromander's a good man.
Bromander's pretty funny. I've met him in real life as well. So with the patch, there was a lot of like little UI fixes, I think, in it. But the big thing was the fleet formations. Obviously, I'm sure almost everybody's seen the Reddit posts of the penis and the boobs and the shapes that they're making. But there's been, I guess, rumblings about maybe potentially the O-penis. That wasn't planned, but it works out.
Unintended.
The unintended consequences of the relative fleet distances. From what I understand, you can set an interceptor like 150 to 200 kilometers out from the front of your fleet, and you can warp to it, but he'll be part of your fleet and warp as well. And so your align point will always stay in warp range that you can just keep bouncing constantly across the grid. Who's Clark?
See, I haven't paid much attention to it. I didn't realize you can make custom ones.
I think you have to get the level 5 skill. Does anyone know who that is, by the way? Up there?
On the public channel, I don't know.
Clark.
Take a chance.
No. Clark, you'll have to, if you're watching, you need to type in chat and let me know who is it.
It's a cruisers guy named Aru Kraz Underdare. Whoever that is.
Never heard of that either.
I don't know.
From
Anyways.
Crusaders. He is blue, but he's still some random dude. So unless anyone knows who that is or they talk to him or whatever, then...
I don't know. Avon might have mentioned that it might have been more people dropping by. I don't know. Avon isn't here, so we can't really go for that. Big shout out to my buddy Forever Forsake 0010. Really thoughtful name in Twitch chat. Cheers, bud. It's good seeing you on the stream.
So yeah. Anyways, back to the fleet formations. Unfortunately, I couldn't really get an actual FCFC to go over the implications of this ability. But from what it sounds like in my feeble FC mind, it sounds like you'd always have a safe place to warp, and people were talking about how that's going to affect the missile doctrines. Thoughts, comments?
That is definitely interesting.
I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff happening with these things, and we'll start seeing it in the next couple of weeks as people get used to them and the start coming up with their own.
I am of the opinion that these new fleet warp changes will absolutely murder missile hacks or any missile doctrine, and it's all going to be about instant damage. Because if you can stutter warp a fleet, it doesn't matter what your flight time. If you could stutter warp, then flight time just gets fucked, right? You shoot a missile, you got to wait, let's say 10 seconds. If they warp in that 10 seconds, the missile just doesn't hit. Unlike with artillery or lasers or rail guns, those are instant damage application.
And the cycle time doesn't really matter when you're warping, which is why artillery is really, really strong in windrunners or Cinnables or Macarial fleets, where they can just pump it out real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've already demonstrated that, at least with the Baltics, that having the ability to warp them in a pattern that's not a ball makes them much harder to bomb and much easier to blow up units with. I think the guys last night had a pretty good showing.
But then they're not a ball tech because they're not warping in a ball.
Oh my
they
God,
don't need to be a ball.
You can make a bigger ball.
Yeah, you can. You can make a big nut.
Thank you to Lucky Pickle, by the way, for the sub with Prime. It's 5 months
Lucky
now.
underscore pickle 079.
Greg, we don't point out we don't
I do.
point out.
Yes, we do,
no,
because it's really nice of people to use their.
But we don't want to
thing.
do it every time they do it. We do like a bunch at like the half hour mark, not every time, because you're going to be interrupting the entire time trying to do it.
Mick Bain, with the
thank
sub.
you for your tier 1 sub for 3 months. Thank you, Mick
you
Bain.
Guys. Fuck you guys.
It'd be cool if like the FC could decide like where certain ships in the formation are. Like
some of them look so cool though.
When we're warping with faxes, it'd be cool if the faxes were like in the center of the ball.
Galactic Sniper has subbed with 1 month Prime. Thank you, Galactic.
We need a siren or something.
Right into that.
Christ.
Hey? Woo, woo, woo.
And you start screaming when I'm in the middle of a sentence.
As far as
Yes,
the fleet formations,
cool.
I haven't had much experience with them yet because of the move and everything, but I was able to pop into Eve the other night for about half an hour. I went on a jackdaw fleet. The fleet itself wasn't that interesting, but the FC said, screw it. And when we warped back to the 1DQ Keepstar, he tried one of the formations, and I think it was really funny to look at. He just did the plain shielding looking one, where everyone's out on the grid,
wall.
Spread out. No, not the wall. The wall one.
You mean the Mighty Ducks V? Quack quack.
No,
I love the V.
But he did it on the Keepstar, and I thought it looked really cool.
Slapshot was a way better hockey movie.
I will fight you on that one. But anyways,
no way. Slapshot was a way better hockey movie than Mighty Ducks.
No,
Come on.
Not at all. Heresy. No. Not at all. Anyways, so we do have another guest with us. I specifically invited last minute. We have Loki with us from Dread Bomb. We'll get to your thing here in a little bit, Loki, because I definitely want to talk about it because I thought it was hilarious.
He's gonna tell us how irony tastes. What irony tastes like.
I know, right? Loki, do you have any comments on the new fleet formations? Have you guys been playing with them yet?
Yeah, I just skilled into those last night. Thanks, CCP, for holding a gun to my head and making me spend my precious saved SP. But I had actually had enough SP saved up that it was okay. So technically, their login incentives
worked
for it
when it came. Yeah, exactly. For those FCs out there who did not save them, rest in peace. But I don't know. It's interesting. I commented a little bit about that on the show last week, or sorry, this Tuesday. It's nice to have this SP sale thing. I think that's actually something that I would be interested in, in purchasing. I just think that coming along the way of this new fleet thing where pretty much every FC who wants to remain competitive with the other FCs needs to buy them. It's a little like milking the player base a little bit, in my opinion. Like the optics around that weren't good. That might have just been unfortunate timing. I don't know.
But, some people have a fetish for getting milked, okay? Like,
whoa,
don't. Sure they do.
No kink shaming.
But for all the other people who don't like being milked, it's kind of interesting when, essentially there's a gun kind of being held to your head a little bit. It's like, well, you're going to need to pull I don't know, 3.25 million SP out of your butt, something like that. So that was
a lot too.
I was about to ask.
At the end of the day,
it's
only two level 5 trains, right? Obviously 1 to 5 trains. As long as you already have leadership 5. Go ahead.
The essential skill in the 2 skills for the fleet formations, I've been told that I don't know the names yet because I haven't been able to log into the freaking game, but the first one that is required, they're saying you should train that to 5, and then the other one only to 4, and it's like one of them is a ×5 training time and the other is a ×8. It's like, damn, that's like capital level skill.
Dave was saying last night to get level 5, it's a 50-day train or something. So,
to be fair,
yes,
right?
It is. To the second skill to get to level 5 is a 48-day train if you have the right remap.
So to be fair, right? I agree that these kinds of things should be long trains. I'm totally with CCP on that because they're important fleet mechanic skills, right? That we're probably going to use a lot, or they're just going to get nerfed to the ground as soon as they realize how crazy broken they are. Anyway, So I agree with that, but the way that they're released just all in one lump sum, it's kind of like, well, if you have the ISK right now to go ahead and buy the injectors for that, because like the majority of FCs are probably going to be above 80 million skill points, right? Like the majority, not everybody, but the majority of FCs will be. So it basically gives a huge advantage to those with the money, which is, I guess, great. But you're looking at this whole economic change thing where essentially they're trying to remove this dynamic of the 5 guys that have everything and then everyone else who has less than everything. So I mean, I don't know. They could have maybe released it in a different way, in my opinion, where maybe, I don't know, maybe had broken it down into three packs and then like released one over time and then the second one and then the third one, so that everyone would actually have the time to skill them, versus like, here you go, just inject or don't inject, have fun. But like, so if I take a Fleeto tomorrow and I don't have it, and my competitive, or my competitor FC does, then it kind of puts me at a disadvantage, right? Which I guess you're incentivizing the sandbox to make money. I don't know. It's a back and forth thing. I don't like the overall tone of it, if that makes sense. I don't, but I do agree that if you're gonna have skills like this, they should be relatively robust in skill training queues and stuff like that.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, what is the strategic and tactical advantage of having the ability to warp in a fleet formation? Like, how could it be used to bat your opponent who does not have that skill? For anybody who wants to answer.
I think the saying would be you could warp yourself around them, right?
Well, look, you're opening up more options, right? At the end of the day, you're opening up more options by having it, which thus puts the FC that doesn't have it at a disadvantage. Now, are those like situations always going to happen on the battlefield? Maybe not. We haven't really gamed it enough yet. It's coming though. Trust me, it's coming.
Yeah, they're all messing with it. It's
Yeah, we
pretty
haven't gamed
Yeah.
it enough yet for it to be like an FC meta thing technically. So you can get away with not having it, I'm sure, in most situations. But the more options you have available to you at any given time, it's probably going to be super advantageous. So I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying is, as long as you need to kind of keep up with that stuff, because if you're not keeping up with that stuff, well, the other FCs have potentially large advantages over you in different situations, like you mentioned the Baltec bomber thing, right? Maybe I have a large Baltec fleet and I don't have those skills, and
you got to warp into the normal small ball, and
you got a bunch of bombers. I mean, so that already puts me at a disadvantage compared to the other guys, right? So that's all I'm saying.
Now, one other thing that was interesting that came up this week from previous patches, like 1 or 2 weeks ago, maybe I think 2 weeks ago, is the hacks got itty bitty nerfed / like semi-affected, but it may actually be a potentially bigger nerf than maybe some people realized, with the signature radius bonus reduced on the Mune, on any of the hacks, I think. But the Mune has been greatly affected comparatively, and we saw earlier this week and or over the weekend, probably earlier this week, I think it was Sunday night, Baltex versus AB Munins.
AB Munins.
AB Munins.
Interesting.
AB Munins have kind of been like on the back of everyone's mind, at least in PanFam. I can kind of, there are some FCs that I know, especially a couple in Pandemic Legion, that like to pull those out once in a while because they're completely off meta and entirely unexpected, right? Obviously only for niche situations. So obviously with the AB, they don't get the penalties that the MWD Munins would now incur.
But they also go so slow.
Like if you're on a gate or anything like that where you need to burn towards something to not get bombed or otherwise fucked.
Well, now all you have to do is be like 400 off, and you can literally just like relative warp yourself on top of stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to
off a gate and you just need to get back to the gate.
When it comes to the war, and I'm not saying in general application, but when it comes to the current war, if Pappy starts using AB Munins, I mean, goons could just use Serb Fleet, Baltec Fleet, Hammer Fleet with Feroxes, and just completely obliterate AB Munins because of how slow they go. They would have to pick and choose their grid control right there.
Well, that's why I was wondering, like, I assume that they tried them out in kind of a controlled area because they came through the T5Z gate into Wendy Q and had a little tittle tattle with us on the gate in Wendy Q versus our Baltecs. Because they're going slower and we were able to apply wobbles to them, which slowed them down even more. And the Baltics were killing them so fast that we couldn't actually like broadcast targets. Now they were killing some stuff too because they're high alpha and Baltics aren't moving. They're just sitting there. But we came out on top 10 billion to 20 billion. So we killed 20 billion worth of stuff. And they killed about 10 because they got they got some Baltics. But
I'm surprised they got 10.
It's people who didn't broadcast correctly or they broadcast the wrong type. They broadcast shield when it's an armor fleet. So like and I never turn off. I always have all the broadcasts on because I know people
I always
do
have
that.
them all on because people are fucking stupid.
But I do know that some Logi
caught
pilots.
Yourself there, Ragnar. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, he did a good job there. But I do know that a lot of Logi pilots will turn off the not corresponding stuff when they're first taught because they think, it's an armor fleet. I only need to know armor. Oh, they didn't broadcast the right thing. Well, fuck them. They get to die. It's not.
Bit of like disabling one or the other because you're either in an armor fleet or you're in a shield fleet. If someone broadcasts for armor, it's like they obviously need reps.
Yeah,
well,
I know. That's why
turn it off.
I know.
Some
that's why I
people
never
are just
tell
dumb,
anybody.
Docs.
But some people can't have.
That's just how it is.
Some people can't have multiple things on. They freak out until they get better.
And thank you very much, Shirar, for the 28-month Prime
I want to
sub.
hear Briss say it.
That are people that broadcast for bomb damage in the middle of a big fleet fight. It's just like, you guys are really fucking us over here.
We actually have a sound effect, a new sound effect for subs.
Oh my god, I can't take you anywhere.
Well, it was either that or the bugle.
God. I didn't know that I had to choose.
I mean, you don't really want to hear Greg's bugle playing. His embouchure is just horrific, so...
Alright, whatever. So Villa, what's your role in the Imperium? How do you what do you do? Do you do Logi, main fleet? Do you do a lot of irregular op kind of stuff?
No, I'm kind of new, man. So I'm still getting into it, but I'm trying to become more of what Mittens was mentioning the other day, being less of an F1 monkey and more F2 and F3 kind of guy. So I'm working on some alts and stuff like that.
Yeah, how do you see
your
that?
F2?
No, I haven't. Well, first of all, I was just playing with multiple characters, doing Logi, training into a fact, stuff like that. But other than that basic stuff, I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do.
I think one important thing to remember with the whole F2 thing is you don't need to limit yourself to one type of F2.
3 and F4 are recommended.
Yeah, those are just the first things that came into my training.
I do GSOL stuff. I do stuff with Theta, and then I go on regular fleets.
Yeah, I've been applying to a lot of the groups as well. Delta, Afghanistan, all that. I'm trying to get into all these groups so that I can see more different things to do. Kind of get into more of the Black Ops kind of stuff.
Theta is always recruiting, so don't forget, if you're not always already a member of Theta, to apply to Theta.
Especially any viewers that are spies, we need more.
That's true. We are very lacking in our spy department in Theta. We're used to at least 10 people we can't trust.
Right. I'm not sure how good I'd be at that, but hey, might try.
No, I mean people spying on us, because...
Oh, I thought you never mind.
For years, we knew that there were at least 3 or 4 in channels somewhere that was just a spy. But now it's kind of down to like, usually it's actual people talking together and engaging, and it's like,
there hasn't been a whole lot going on for me to report back to my superiors lately. So
I think we scared off all of the spies a long time ago.
I feel like I did my job, yeah. Well, Loki, because I know you weren't going to necessarily be available all night. Let's crack into what I brought up with you, because I think it's hilarious and ironic. The I'll do a little setup for chat. So on Tuesday, Seto, who is the CEO coalition leader or alliance leader for Dreadbomb, Vaz Devrins or whatever, some guy who's really loud, was also there. I don't know who they are, but I know that they're all in Dreadbomb.
Who's really loud.
So basically, a couple Dreadbomb guys were on
Does
the
Dawn know
show.
what a Vaz deferens is?
Yeah, let's back this up a little bit.
I don't think she does, because she kind of just skipped right over it, and that's completely unlike Dawn.
Yes, I know what a Vaz deferens is. Thank you. I had to take anatomy. But anyways.
Did you take a lot of anatomy, Dawn?
Yes, I dissected a cat. Two cats actually have dissected a shark, a Picturus. For my anatomy classes, I have a degree in zoology, so I had to take.
It wasn't the
anatomy.
one that was screaming on comms all the time that you're not feeding, right?
No.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
So this is the first time. This is the first time I've heard you pronounce it correctly, zoology, because it's normally zoology.
It's zoology is how you say it.
You literally just said zoology.
Okay, well, I'm sorry I said it too fast. Whatever. Anyways, focus, people. Focus. So.
Focus. What?
On.
As he mutes himself.
I know. I think he just doesn't want us to hear him like typing.
I was actually that's mainly why. Whenever I mute myself, is because I'm typing.
So on Tuesday, the Dreadbombs, they're talking about their stuff, and then everybody pretty much was ganging up on Dreadbomb, calling them backstabbers and attacking them for attacking Legacy Space, and that they were offended and accosted by the fact that they sold a Fortizar to them, and they Dreadbomb let the Fortizar abandon and took all the stuff, and Seto was trying to sound like he wasn't breaking any goodwill anywhere, but I'm kind of sitting there watching going, you're an independent alliance. You don't need you're a strong independent alliance. You don't need no man. Why are you worried about what Billy thinks of you? Loki, can you enlighten us a little bit on that situation?
What, on the Seto-Billy relationship or something? Jesus Christ.
Or just anything about that whole conversation, because I found it hilarious that Billy's upset about getting shot by an independent alliance.
So just to frame the whole scenario so that people kind of know what's going on. So Seto used to be in test, right?
He was one of their top FCs, right?
Correct, yeah. And at the same time that Billy was there, right? So I guess to some extent there's a level of respect there, like between the two of them. So that may have been what you saw on the show where Seto was, being cordial, I would say. Very nice to Billy, I would also say. Maybe too nice to Billy, I would also say. So just to kind of frame what our alliance is, right? It was a group of some test players that felt like they didn't want to do nullsec anymore, and they decided to go to lowsec, and they joined RC, and they kind of built an alliance out of from RC slowly over time, and now you got Dreadbomb today, right? So at the beginning of the war, Dreadbomb was actively, as RC was actively supporting Pappy in the war. At a certain point, lowsec dudes get really, really tired of really big nullsec fights, all the stuff that come along, all the stuff that comes along with being in nullsec, with living in nullsec. And I think to some extent a decision was made that we were going to go focus on other PvP. Simple as that. Nobody got stabbed in the back. Nobody was butthurt over it. That was literally the situation. Okay, so just to frame it that way, we actively deployed dreads to help Pappy and fight the Imperium. And I was on, I think, 100% of those dread ops where we dropped dreads and got to kill some goon titans, some goon supers, and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we were doing. Now, simultaneous to this, RC and the whole Pravi scenario kind of played out, and RC was kind of left with Pravi after CVA decided to leave, and basically Pravi block completely disbanded. So, what are you going to do with that? You're a low second alliance, and you want to
And your content's gone.
Yeah, like
right?
because and to be fair, right? Like RC had a lot of fun farming probably for a very long time, right? For years, for many years, this was the case. And it got to the point where I guess they finally broke them and they left, and good riddance. But now there's some random space, and now these low sec guys are kind of like, well, I guess we got to be null secers a little bit, and so you got this whole strange situation. And anyway, and that basically put a lot of legacy alliances, a lot of very small and vulnerable legacy alliances, kind of right next to Dreadbomb's Soth, which caused a few problems, and we began to get fights out of those smaller alliances. Dreadbomb wasn't a big alliance at the time. It's not as big as it is today. And I mean, from an Imperium versus Pappy standard, Dreadbomb is not a large alliance. Like, let's be fair, right? So we took fights where we can get them, and we began to fight groups like the Watchmen, for example, who were right next to us and who would provide us with entertainment, PvP, and whatever. And eventually, I mean, the way that those alliances had been run was unfortunate, and you kind of see a growing PvP group begin to go after the weaklings in a herd, and peel them off one by one, and these groups folded.
And nom nom nummy.
Right, exactly. And I mean, and that's, it's not to say that Dreadbomb was fighting for anyone at that point. We're fighting for ourselves. Like, we're a brand new nullsec alliance, and like we just want to essentially, like, it'd be great if we survived, right? But to do that, especially with the new economic realities of the game, it requires maybe some aggressive diplomacy from time to time. And I mean, and that's what you see being displayed. So I mean, you can begin to correlate, like, us being around with them, but it's at the end of the day, it comes down to if you're not with us, you're against us. Form of diplomacy
mentality.
coming from largely Villy, which.
Oh yeah, he is so mad that you guys don't attack initiative out there.
This is something we've also seen.
We have attacked initiative in the past, and it's really a case by case basis as to what is going to go down. Right? Because again, when groups are folding or groups are leaving, there is a large amount of opportunity in those places, right? On various levels, right? So, I mean, we would be fools not to try to, at some level, take advantage of that. And if at the same time the goons happen to be in a region, well, I mean, hey, like, they're in the region too. So what do we do? Do we begin to, fight the people who are essentially, doing things that we don't really give that much of a crap about? Like, maybe, but their USTZ, like, in its USTZ, and no disrespect, risk is not really, as far as I know, that robust. And
It is not.
Dreadbomb is a USTZ alliance. So I don't know if just going after Init right off the hop would have gotten us anywhere, because at the end of the day, as I've said like 30 fucking times on various talk shows at this point, we're interested in content at the end of the day. That's what we
And you're
want.
definitely not going to get content out of our US time zone. So that makes perfect sense. Well, look, I mean, the bottom line, as far as I can tell, is Villy is one of these guys who is of the opinion that if you're not with me, you're against me. And therefore, if you're doing anything bad that possibly could be interrupting what I'm in the middle of trying to do, then you're a bad guy. And so that's why he's all butthurt.
Right.
And I'm sure that Theta, because he's friends with Villy, is unhappy that he had to be on the wrong side of his friend. But you know what? Shit happens.
Well, and Villy was so mad about the fort thing, or annoyed with it. He even said he'd shoot Dreadbomb over Snuffed after Snuff just took their money and broke their word and killed their Keepstars.
That saved him money. He's not complaining about,
but not about the Tatara that made them money.
He wanted to shut down Ignitant anyway, so that wasn't. Snuff did him a favor. If anything.
He was still upset.
They weren't losing money on that.
Villy still made it abundantly clear publicly that he hated that Snuff didn't go off of their word or wait until the next payment period and this and that, and whining and complaining about Snuff doing it. And that plays in part of what Villy is doing here, which is the whole, if you're not with me, you're against me type mindset. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up, Loki, with Dreadbomb, is this is something I mentioned when we had Asher and Mike Flood on a couple weeks ago on Theta Thursdays, is that when you see these giant blue donut wars, stuff that we have seen in the past, history is repeating itself, and you see smaller alliances reaching out into Nullsec. When Goons got evicted from Declan the first time, look at the Sov maps from back then. What happened immediately after getting kicked out of Declan? You had 5 or 6 smaller alliances that came from Lowsec. They started battling out, trying out Nullsec mechanics, and then 1 or 2 of those alliances got their shit together, learned how to play Nullsec better than Lowsec, came out on top, and took those regions for themselves. And that's what happened with any alliance, from AAA to CVA did it when they first got Proviblock, to Brave when they took over Catch, to the Culture when they took over Fountain. Right? It's just this wonderful thing that when you break up the mega blocks of EVE Online, you start to see these smaller alliances dip their toes into Nullsec and eventually grow. And I think it's a great thing. I think it's a fantastic thing for EVE Online. And I always love the fact that Dreadbomb is getting a head start on it with taking over Provi and dipping your toes into Nullsec life.
So you're talking about breaking up mega blocks so small alliances like go off and take a bunch of stuff. Did Horde plant you in here, or?
Yeah, what the fuck, Mifune?
What?
I have a more important question from Mifune.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you do to your room, man?
Oh, this is my room.
In a storage container.
This is
not even his
This is
room.
my best friend's room.
It's
What
not
did
even
you
his
do?
bed. Show briskier bed, Mifune.
Oh yeah, here. So the whole stream. This is my buddy's bed right here.
Yeah.
You see all those lights across
then,
like the outline
that's
of
my
the
bed
wall
on the
and
floor.
stuff? That's like where the light's getting in, where they kind of tried to put the shipping container together, but didn't quite screw it together, so there's like a big fucking gap.
Yeah, because you know it's still totally sunny at 8:30 o'clock at night in Massachusetts.
That's crazy. Okay. All
No,
right.
the shipping container's in a warehouse with a very bright light.
Mifune,
Okay, that makes sense.
as soon as you get an actual address, let us know so we can send you a care package.
Blink twice if we need to send
yeah.
a hostage rescue team, dude. Just saying.
Don't worry, Mike Flood's like 20 minutes from him, so you know.
Oh yeah.
He can go crash over there.
Have you fucked him yet?
I would.
Whoa.
He's underage, Doc.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Brisk is
You
about
don't
to
ask
launch a
just
congressional
questions like that.
inquiry.
I think we need to find out what's going on with Mifune, because this very much.
Don't worry.
me.
Well, maybe one day I can
he
get
got
Mike.
a job offer today.
Yeah.
I was thinking that he was moving to his own place, and
No.
now I see him in a room that looks like ravers do a meth in it, and it worries me, and I'm scared.
It's certainly some sort of dungeon there, isn't it? That backlighting and the dark colors.
Yes,
around
this is,
I just assume on the outer wall there's like a giant heart
Can you-
and some fuzzy.
Can you change it to red?
Illusions.
Can you
Ladies and
change
gentlemen,
it?
Dirk Statiel.
well, the,
Everybody, big round of applause for Dirk
remote
Statiel.
was all the
who
way on
dropped
the other
by.
side of the room. So
Oh please,
I'll be right
please,
back. Let me get the remote for the light.
Craig, I don't need a round of applause. Like,
Billy, hold on. Billy, you're lying again. Because I distinctly remember when we had our
Can we
conversation
please not
back
call
in
people liars?
No,
Please
dear
don't
no,
do
Lord.
that.
in
It triggers
September,
me.
when I had Billy on the show, I asked, who do I talk to for renting out ZXB? And they said, talk to Test. So yes, they did say they were going to
Okay,
rent
all
out
right.
Space and Delta.
No,
Okay?
no,
All
right,
right.
whoa,
I have that.
Right, Dawn.
I might have been drunk, but I remember.
There is a very different.
Okay.
There's a huge difference between who do you talk to rent out, talk to Test, and Test will be renting. Like,
Yeah,
Test
those are
will
two
be owning
very-
ZXB. That doesn't mean they're renting it. Like, come on.
If,
No,
if
I
anybody,
asked
if anybody
who do I
wants to
get to
rent
rent
GE
that
Tech,
system?
let me know, and I'll be happy to get you set up.
Just
Did you guys get that iHub today, or was that yesterday?
I don't know if we got it today. I know we got everything around it.
Love how
Poor Brave
Mifune's
is
room just turned into a
big
strip
right
club.
now.
Starting.
So that's what it is.
Yeah,
They're
he can change
claiming-
the color.
They're claiming that they live in Quirius, so when we say we took their stage in iHub, they can just turn around and say, well, that's not our staging.
You didn't take P-Taxi.
Yeah, I mean, we did take Peak Tessie once. We had it for a while.
That is
but
true.
it's really hard. Severance has like the worst time zone. That's the only reason why we could never flip any of their iHubs, is because their time zone's like EU and all of us are USTZ. So it's just kind of like well, all right, I'm working.
It's a shame that Billy can't behave himself enough to be on the show.
Look how Chad's
What do you
jumping
mean
on
he
him.
can't behave himself? Have you guys let him on?
I can't let. I can't let.
Billy's
been
been on the
once.
show. Yes,
Billy's been on here once. I can't have him on without asking Life Shifter, and Life Shifter will probably say no.
Obviously.
So that's the only reason why I don't even bother trying to like invite. As long as somebody's the rule is, as long as they're not leadership, I can bring them on without having to ask.
Well, that
If they
doesn't
are
sound
leadership,
doesn't sound like fair and balanced content, Don. Jeez.
did I say this is fair and balanced? We literally had a whole show about how this is an Imperium echo chamber to just
This is
support
INN.
ourselves.
We have no trusted name in smoke. There's no fair and
Exactly.
balance.
I actually just watched the first meta show. Well, not the whole first meta show, but part of the first meta show accidentally, because I was watching some other Eve related show the other day, and then it just randomly came on. So it's like Laz and the Matani sitting on a chair, like on some random set with.
Oh, that's not the first one.
That's not the first one. Okay, well,
one
of the first ones. One of the first ones.
Back to
you gotta go way back.
Nystrom. I used to watch that. I just assumed that one was the first one. But anyway, regardless, the point is that what was my point? The point is that on that show, the Matani talked about fair and balanced news, and we have to remain fair and balanced. He said, I was like, wow, that sure went up in smoke pretty fast.
It did go up in smoke real quick as soon as Boat took over.
That was back before there was any other media besides Matani.com. That was like the only thing. Now we have lots of different people that do that stuff. So
there's a whole deal there, and as somebody who mostly deals with the written side, like we try and be reasonable people who will listen to all sides. You know, like we have a bunch of people from the other side who post fairly regularly.
Yeah,
on,
we had
Imperium News.
We've had Billy on Push to Talk.
Again, the written side. I would maintain that, you know, the most dangerous place to be in Eve Media is between Villy and a talk show, but, you know, that's just my opinion on the topic.
I hit 3 shows a week, so I don't know.
I've actually gotten a lot better. I'm just saying.
I'm going to reach out to Life Shifter this week, and we'll see if we can not have Villy on for next week.
Okay, I can tell you.
See if you can not have Villy. That's a very interesting way to phrase that one.
Greg, I'll go over the details with you on what it would take to get that to happen. So
that's okay. We'll talk later.
We'll talk later on it. But
we just don't trust Dawn. Really, is the
that's pretty much it. They don't. Yeah, no one.
I trust Dawn.
Why would anyone trust Dawn? It's Dawn. It's Dawn.
Listen, I called him out a lot on Tuesday.
I mean, I missed
one thing, okay?
I may be on a break.
Don, have you been drinking?
But I'm still capable of babysitting.
Some Sprite Zero.
There's a fair point, actually, in Twitch chat that I think would be interesting to discuss, given the various people that we have and the various talk shows that some of these people are on. You know, like, we've got people from the Meta Show, we've got people from Push to Talk here. Obviously, this is Theta Thursday, but Loki, you're a pretty regular on Trash Talk Tuesday, and somebody says having enemies on your talk show. Nick62C3R2. I feel terrible for saying that name. Having enemies on your talk show feels weird. What do people think about that? Like, is having people who you consider your opposition odd?
It depends on what you want to do. Like, if you can have a good conversation and just talk about stuff, that's fine. It depends on the show. Like,
and the person.
It definitely depends on the goal and the context.
Like the Meta Show, when it's peacetime, I have no problems bringing on people that are interesting to talk to from around. But at the same time, at least for the Meta Show, part of what we do is news. Part of what we do is propaganda. Part of what we do is morale boosting and entertainment. And and especially given the numbers of people that watch, why would we give the bad guys an audience? So that's one of the reasons why I don't tend to bring folks on. It would make absolute great television. People would want to tune in and see it. But at the same time, I have a competitive advantage. Why am I going to give it to the bad guys to be able to go out there and toot their own horns? So that's my take on that. But there are plenty of other shows where people can do that, and there's nothing stopping. This is the thing. There is nothing stopping PanFam or Test or any of the other bads to do their own show or do their own channel. It doesn't require a lot of effort. You just got to have somebody willing to do the work. And I find it very hard to believe that in an alliance with 150,000 characters and at least 20,000 people in it, that you can't find two people who are photogenic who can talk on TV.
This is going to sound really rude, but Brisk, why would you do it yourself when you have talking stations to do it for you?
Well,
yeah.
But so, hey, Matterall will at least try to be fair sometimes.
I knew it was going to sound bad saying it, but
But no, but I mean, I appreciate the joke. It's true, but at the same time, every time we do something, like there's nothing original. At least I can't see it from the propaganda side. I can see nothing original coming out of Pappy. So all they really do is just copy the shit that we do first. So I'm not at all. I'm just surprised that they haven't taken advantage of the fact that we've shown them how to do a fun show, and nobody's taken up that wrong and run with it.
To that point. Wait a second.
Greg, hold on.
Wait a second.
Greg.
I was going to say to that point, the last thing I want to see from Theta Thursday is it to be a cheap knockoff of Trash Talk Tuesday. Like Theta Thursday is ThetaCom, and we talk about fun Eve stuff. We don't, we don't argue and as far as real news goes,
Okay, I'm trying to step in about literally whenever I say I need to say something, it's because it's Twitch related here. Chat, don't attack Billy the entire time, please. And you guys can discuss and have fun with each other, but don't be necessarily mean. Do that in game all you want. I don't care. But let's keep chat to be reasonable, because I like having people who are opposing sides coming in and talking and engaging with us, because that does help me, at least personally, fight about things that maybe I didn't know about, like what Loki does and what Dreadbomb does, or that Siege Green and Snuffed Out are starting to have a war and they just lost 200 billionists this morning. Things like that.
I don't see anything particularly bad in the chat.
They're just messaging him like 50 million times.
I just want to say,
take a breath, guys.
Moomin, you have never said anything mean in your life. All you do is truthiness and wonderfulness, and we all love what you do for us, Moomin. You are a fantastic and just incredible person. We love you. Thank you, Moomin.
So anyway, my point is, keep having fun. So
my point is, I just am surprised that nobody has tried to do that. We have created the item. You can recreate it. Everything else they recreate. They recycle all of our memes. It's pretty common.
Oh, like the golden pigeon?
Like the golden pigeon is a perfect example of that.
I thought that was funny.
It is funny but it's another example of how they are completely bereft of ideas. They have to own, all they can do is cheap copy parodies of the stuff that we come up with.
You could always hire me, a former television news director, to come up with something for you.
Hey, there you go.
What's pretty interesting actually is like in my experience with PanFam, which is like relatively extensive, right? Like it kind of seems like, I don't know, everything's guarded very close to the chest. Like talk shows are not necessarily regarded as something you should be going on, maybe. And then they let certain people do the talking for them, which, I mean, is one way to do it, right?
Well, you've got, I mean, Redline started a show, and he's clearly PanFam and he's got his own network trying to start out. So they've got 3 shows on there.
He did, but it's not like PanFam State TV, right?
Right. It's not right.
It's not just PanFam. It's just that everybody that runs it is all PanFam.
This is such a weird argument.
I think we've discussed I'm not PanFam, and I'm a host on that show.
Do you run the show?
I'm a host on that show, and Dominark is a host on that show. Like, what do you mean? Do you think somebody runs the show? There is no running. It's a fucking Discord channel. Nobody's running fucking anything. There's a Discord channel. We show up, we get drunk, we yell at each other. Pretty much, like, I don't know, we took Dirk McGurk's stick to like a different level, I suppose. Maybe a little bit more on the argument side, which I actually like, because
it's a little bit more on the actually plays the game side. That's
right, exactly. So you're making, to some extent, you're making intelligent arguments, and then you generally, when we get other people on the other side of that to tell their story, and then usually that devolves into yelling, which it turns out is actually really good for the show. We tried to do it without yelling, not so good for the show. So
well, people come to expect certain things, and if you don't give them what they're expecting, they get upset about it. That's the
first time I saw it was Brisk and Dawn, and it was just a clusterfuck. Y'all were so angry at everybody.
Well, that was
bad.
What was that?
That was, I think it was right after one of the Keep Stars died or something.
Yeah.
And it was just like everybody being mean to Brisk and Dawn. But it was fine.
No, they were just. No, it was the week he probably saw the one where I wasn't on there, because there was one particular week where they just drilled into you hard.
Oh, well, that's
like, you were on there.
They rode you hard and put you away wet.
No, that's not a specific week. That's just Trash Talk Tuesday usually going at Brisk. They know Brisk can take it.
Well, and it's also because I give it back to them, and it's funny. And that's part of this.
That was what I was referring to. Yeah, it was great.
I mean, it really is an interesting discussion between like what is the Imperium News kind of standard, and then what is the other media standards. What do they try to emulate? And I was having this discussion with INN's written side EIC literally about 6 hours ago. And we were talking about how realistically on the written side, we try to emulate the BBC as it was 15 years ago.
For those who don't know, the BBC is the British Broadcasting Corporation.
My God.
Yeah, the
is that
British
what it
Broadcasting
is?
Corporation.
I don't think that's what it is.
I thought it was the Billionaire Boys Club.
I've Googled it before, and I'm pretty sure that's not what it comes up. I'm just saying. At least if you do the image search.
But there's a lot of Americans here, right? And you know what
your opinions. But we try and talk a lot about what we consider to be news, and we try and provide a value add on the news. Like CCP announcing, that the MER has happened again is not news.
Are you providing as much value as Avilli, though?
No comment.
Okay, fair enough.
My point is, and a new MER, especially with the various discrepancies in the MER, is not news. An MER that has some sort of analysis about where the changes have been compared to last MER, that's value added, and that's kind of where we aim to be for our actual
Derek, you will be happy to hear.
I know all about this already, but carry on.
Very good. You'll be happy to hear that I provided a very long PowerPoint of all the issues that are wrong with the MER to the guys today at CCP so that they can see what Riv and you and Caleb and the rest are complaining about and maybe fix it. We'll see if that helps anything. But I wish you'd go between.
Wait, are we going to get to do futures?
No.
This is about fixing the problems with the MER.
Basically, what Brisk is talking
by
about
introducing
is
futures.
No,
you need to be able to do like
that's a
short
new
squeezes
thing.
and shit.
What Brisk is talking about here is a PowerPoint that was provided. It's a 16-slide PowerPoint that was built for Brisk to be presented to CCP that talks about the issues, specifically the issues with the MER. Not how to change the MER, not how to improve the MER, just the problems with the data in the MER that means that we cannot trust the MER in any sort of an analysis situation. We all read into the MER and, it's fun to do and it's interesting to do, but there are major issues that need to be resolved before there could be any analysis or improvement that has any significant impact on the future of EVE.
Are you guys goonsplaining to CCP what things
They
in the economy
are.
are actually
goonsplaining?
Goonsplaining.
Yeah,
No.
they do. They do. Yes, you do.
No, this isn't goonsplaining because this PowerPoint was in fact provided by a high-sec trader.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Now.
Anyway, I did it. Now,
good.
people are asking CSM elections. I don't know. I assume it'll be May, June, like they always.
Yeah, isn't that like normal?
We haven't had any discussions about it yet.
before anybody goes, because I know, Burst, you're going to be leaving soonish to go join Merkelchen.
Well, I'm going to be
I'm
running the stream tonight, so you guys are going to have to come hang out on my channel.
Maybe.
We'll do that. What is your channel, Brisk? Just so we can,
if you
want to post a link.
Twitch.tv/BriskerBall. It's very easy, and when this is over, I'll rate us, and you can come and hang out. But I'll link
it was provided by a high-sec trader on its own doesn't really mean much. I mean, if it's a good high-sec trader, granted it does, but high-sec traders in general, I don't know.
I mean, the high-sec trader in question is a major high-sec trader who, is involved.
I assume it's Caleb, in which case it's definitely credible, but
he was part of it.
Getting back to the CSM elections, I think don't we have somebody running from Karma Fleet this year? Somebody else running?
We always have. Why do we not have him in this channel? Where is he? Where is our new Karma Fleet representative?
Micro, he should be here, right?
No.
I'm talking about Bruden.
Bruden too. Yeah.
Where is the
Micro
disciple of the Pancake Cat?
Oh, Micro's running too. Good.
I did want to point out yesterday. I don't know how this worked, but our very own Greg started streaming yesterday. The Gate Camp.
I gotta give you credit, Greg, man. You had like 500 people watching at some point.
We got 500 people to watch.
I think it was the interpretive dance tag I put in.
He put in like 50 tags on his stream.
No, you're only allowed 5. I put in interpretive dance, and I think that's what brought the boys to the yard.
That's legit. I'm gonna have
to
do that.
You put strategy RPG. You put interpretive dance, stand-up comedy, open reading.
Dance occasionally in your chair, and it's legit, right? Like, right?
It's great.
I got some big things planned. Like I'm gonna eat different types of pepperoni on my stream, so it's something to look forward to, everyone.
He had his space helmet on, which was funny.
You're gonna eat different types of pepperoni. Is this like chicken salami that I was asked for at work the other night?
Chicken salami.
I was legitimately asked if the shop that I work at sells chicken salami the other night.
Is that a thing? Is there actual like chicken salami? Is that kind of a thing?
I don't know. I've never heard of it before.
I know they've got.
You can get it in Asda, I think.
They've got turkey pepperoni. It's not very good. The same way they got turkey bacon, right? Like, come on.
Or turkey sausages. Yeah. Oh, actually, the turkey sausages aren't that bad, but they're still not like, I don't know.
Yeah, but turkey bacon—that's an affront to God.
Yeah, it's not. That is not edible. Like, I don't eat that.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm seeing Shira suggest that chicken salami isn't salami, and I agree with him in much the same way as I agree with him in that chicken fried steak is not a thing that could possibly be described as steak.
It's not steak. They're just meaning it's a slab of meat that's been pounded out.
It's beef, so like steak.
That's,
wait a second.
Yeah, you're right.
There is no cooking process that can be described as chicken fried, unless a chicken is frying your steak, and you might want to question why a chicken is frying your steak.
What if he's sitting there as your assistant in the kitchen?
It's called chicken fried steak because they're frying it in the way you would usually fry chicken. That is why it's called chicken fried steak.
Just as a point, if you fry a steak in the way you fry a chicken, you will overcook your steak.
That's why you pound it out.
It's not steak, it's ground beef.
You small brained fucking Euro trash.
Whoa!
I'm trying to be nice with what I say.
You're doing a great job, dude. You're doing a really good job.
I appreciate that you're American, and you may not understand this concept, but words have meanings, and you can't just combine whatever the fuck you want.
America!
Fuck yeah.
Yes, you can. We're America. We'll do anything. We'll deep fry a thing of bacon and surround it in marshmallows.
No, Mifune, that sounds a bit too much for me.
Mifune, insider question. Does Wendy's have any chicken fried options on their menu or plan to have any chicken fried options on their menu?
Yeah, they have chicken fried sandwiches.
We do not. So the last time, we have the home style chicken, which is kind of like a fried chicken sandwich. But
is it a piece of chicken that's fried and you put it between buns to make a sandwich? Then yes, it's a fried chicken sandwich.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Can you chicken fry a hot dog?
No.
Yes.
I mean, I suppose you could in the same way you can chicken fry a steak.
A hot dog is a sausage.
long as we're on the topic of what foods we can fry, I can say I have successfully fried a Swedish fish gummy candy. I got it in breading and deep fried it.
Was it infused with anything?
You do that?
Why not? Why
No,
not?
Why would you take over half the world?
You to do that?
What inspired you to take over half the world?
We were at Wendy's and we were bored out of our minds, and we went to the supermarket across the street from the Wendy's, and we just got like one of those family packs of Swedish fish. And we got bored because there was nothing going on that night. So my manager said, fuck it. And we tossed it in some breading and tossed it into the deep fryer for 2 minutes.
Oh, you wacky kids.
Did it? I don't know. Okay. Ugh. So before Loki may have to go, because I don't know how long Loki will stay here, but was there, because I know I'm kind of ADD with my topics here. Was there any? I know. Shut up. Okay.
A little bit.
Only a little bit. Was there anything else about the kind of accosting on Tuesday that really stuck out for you? Because, as I said, I just found the whole situation funny that they act like they had some kind of agreement.
Yeah, what does irony taste like, Loki? Like, can you tell me?
Well, I don't know, guys.
Irony? Is it? Yeah.
Does it taste like irony? I mean, there was some form of agreement, and I think you're alluding to the test and Goonstorm dynamic.
No, I'm just saying it's ironic that they're complaining about being invaded while they're invading us.
Or that you dragged people away from the war and didn't attack Init every time you saw Init on the field, and that you would attack the lowly poor Rosata Regnums or whatever is out there.
Well, yeah, and what was interesting too is like on TIS yesterday, I'm gonna say it was, Matterall felt like he had some smoking gun with the fact that we had we had caps on field shooting a Satio, and then Init came in after we were already there, and then they joined us in killing the Satio, and we did not lose any of our caps. And this was like the big smoking gun to disprove everything that we've been saying, and that there's collusion.
Oh, that you're in our pocket,
and
that we pay you, and that you're our bitches now, right?
All I'm gonna say to that is the fact that Pando was the FC of that at the time probably played a massive amount in what we did with our caps and how we reacted to them coming into system. Honestly,
should I be insulted or?
No, not at all.
Okay,
Pando,
good.
so let me elaborate. So Pando seems, at least, like I don't have a lot of interaction or any interaction actually with Pando, never have, but seems like a pretty straightforward guy. He seems like a pretty honest, straight shooting kind of dude. And, obviously intelligent, he's a good FC, all that shit. Very thoughtful. But I might trust my stuff a little bit more with Pando than I would with somebody, say, like, I don't know, Darkshines, or like, maybe if like Haiwanto came into system and he was like, hey guys, we're just here for the Satio, stuff like that. Like he's a relatively like honorable kind of guy. I think, in my opinion,
Hai would kill you in a heartbeat.
That is,
you can count on that.
I mean, yeah, for sure. So I mean, but that's kind of the dynamic I see there. Now I've been in similar positions. I think a lot of FCs have been in similar positions, like having large fleets. And fielding them for a specific purpose, and coming across people who may, they're not blue to you. They're doing something, and you could either choose to, destroy that kind of dynamic, and have them fight with you, or you can maybe just let them do what they're doing. And if they ask you in local, are you gonna come kill my shit? And I tell them no, then like I choose to be one of those players who keep their word. And what that means is that long term in the game, when I tell somebody that something is going to happen, then I make sure that happens. You generate enough of that goodwill and stuff like that, and good things actually happen to you, funnily enough, in this game. So you have two different play styles. I think Pando is probably on the same page with that, and I think that that's probably why the caps remain on field. Now, that being said, like, please don't think that we weren't, ready with a Sino and everything was, like, worst case scenario strategizing stuff like that. Nobody was relaxed at that point. I was not on that particular fleet, but I can tell you that it was not some weird fucking we're friends, let's hold hands dynamic. We also know that there are kill mails in this game, and we also understand that people can see them. So it's whatever. So Matterall's smoking gun of collusion. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. We're doing stuff. We're doing stuff for content. The stuff with Snuff seems like it looks like it's heating up. I'm getting pretty excited about that.
And what would be so wrong if you did decide to help us occasionally? Unless that's, once again, the relationship between Seto and Villu would be tested because Seto is cheating on him with Init.
Well, I mean, like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna speculate what would be wrong with that. I mean, so siding with one side or the other in a war, I mean, will have various different consequences, when the war is over, right? So obviously, we're just looking for content. We're trying to get some fights. We're trying to get some stuff done. We're trying to survive as a group. We have to provide content for our dudes, and there doesn't seem to be a lot to shoot at right now because everybody's in Delve. When we go to Delve, things don't necessarily turn out well for us from either side. Like, please don't, like, Goonswarm will definitely shoot us if we come into 1DQ, and I'm pretty sure when we show up to T5Z, Pappy's going to shoot us too, right? So we could go down and deploy and all this crap and be in these big nullsec fights, but we're not currently. We choose to remain separate from either of those groups. And I think that it's a very important decision for our group. And I think it's ballsy for sure. And I think people don't understand that. Like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just tether yourself to another big group? And honestly, because I think we kind of feel like big groups in the game are kind of bullshit at this point, and some more small scale dynamic PvP is like, it's a lot more fun.
Really, it actually is pretty fun.
There's a ton of opportunity for smaller scale groups. I mean, specifically right now, I don't want to say much on the topic of smaller scale groups outside of this current war scenario, but right now you've got the 3 real power blocks in EVE locked into a very small area in terms of nullsec. We're talking about the southwest. We're talking about maybe 10 to 12 regions across the entirety of EVE. There's a ton of opportunity for smaller groups to be playing about outside. Even with Immensia, Faithabilis, Catch, there's a lot of back and forth. Dreadbomb's got a lot of space in Catch at the minute, I know. Deepwater Hooligans, who deserve a massive shout out for the amount of shit that they've done and the way they play the game at the minute. They've done a lot of stuff in Immensi and Faithabilis recently. There's a lot of room for smaller groups to be playing around the edges of the current conflict. There's a lot of room for them to be playing in other areas of space. It's just, it really is one of these big questions right now of who gives in. Because, at the same time as the Imperium only has, I think we're at 7 systems where we own iHubs in Delve. 7 systems.
One constellation.
Bastion alone own more iHubs in Esoteria than the Imperium own in Delve currently.
So we're moving to ESO, confirmed?
These are situations where, Bastion are in Esoteria, Init are in Catch for sure. Impasse has just burned to the ground pretty much. Not Impasse, Immensi, sorry. Immensi, not Impasse. Immensi has burned to the ground. There are some major questions around what the hell is going on, because even as I look at the Catch iHub map, we've got Dracaris owning a bunch of systems, we've got Red Alliance owning a bunch of systems. Brave own 2 systems in Catch. Brave own 2 systems according to iHubs.
3.
According to iHubs.
Yeah, I'm looking at iHub ownership on Dotland. There's 3.
Sorry, I missed V2sec. Yeah, but Brave own 3 systems in Catch. At this point, what are we doing at this? Are we just like... honestly, are we swapping space?
It's kind of what it looks like, which I like Sancho Rats more anyways, so whatever, I'm happy either way at that point. So
you just want to get a curse, don't you?
Sancha rats are 10 times better than Blood Raiders because they don't newt you, they don't web you, they just track you and disrupt you.
Can I just
I mean,
also
I've already
say,
got my own little NPC station home in Curse.
Yeah, he's been out there for like weeks.
Can I also just say one last thing on that topic? I find it really funny when on Tuesday I'm a goon pet, and then on Saturday we're PanFam. Like, you guys need to get your each of your big blocks need to get the story straight here, because
I don't feel like we've
Does
done
that
anything
mean
negative towards
Goonstorm
you in
and
the last at
PanFam are
least month.
colluding together?
no, but I mean Mittens did call us. I don't know what he said about RC, but he did say something along the lines of like
I think
dirty PanFam or dirty Pappy. I don't know, something like that. It
I
doesn't really
lo-
matter.
No,
It's
no,
just
John.
hilarious that
Really?
in each of
I
these
think I remember
cases,
what you're talking about.
both of these leaderships are saying these various things about our groups, because like they don't understand we're just on our own kind of little side, and we're kind of just doing our own thing. And I guess
It's like
to some extent we're pissing off both of them, which is that a great idea? Who knows? But
It'll
who
be
gives a shit?
fine.
It's
really
content.
do-
It's content
I-
PvP in the game.
I really do love the way Loki was just like, "Hey, your two leaderships need to get on the same page about what we're doing." As
Yeah, you
if
guys need to
we are going to be
decide.
on the same page about anything. I love it.
That's funny. I think I remember what you're talking about. I don't think Mittens didn't say
And
Dread
it's
Bomb. He
something to
said
do
like
with
RC.
Wrecking Crew. Yeah, but Dread Bomb is part of Wrecking Crew.
I
We're in
don't know if
RC.
he knows that. Maybe he does.
Well, it doesn't.
Not-
It
not
doesn't
really
really.
sure.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, right? Like he was reacting to something that RC did that was not in its best interest in catch. So I don't know. Like I said, we play both sides of like we're on our own side. So we're just there, ready to go for PvP content when it presents itself. And honestly, like who are we going to shoot today depends a lot on the situation, right?
You really did. You really kind of not monopolized. That's the wrong term. But you really you came in from Providence into Catch very hard in Northern Catch. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like it was difficult to.
System.
It wasn't like it was hard to do that, though, right? Because like
it's not about the difficulty.
Billy
It's,
gave him
you
the
went
space.
hard into taking that space. So
No, but no, Billy said you can move in. Watchmen were moving out, so they didn't put up a fight about it. That's why they took it all so fast.
I mean, essentially, we were, taking things so that we could get fights. Like that was really the spirit of what we were doing. Nobody in Dreadball wants to have Sov. Honestly, that is like that's a thing. But we got it, and we were taking things because we wanted reactions that would result in PvP content. Basically, at the end of the day.
I just love there's another group out there that's taken. I think it's either Immensia or Faithabolus. Is Combat Wombat. They are just ravaging that area away from. I think it's Vindy and Rosada out there.
Aren't they? They're also German, aren't they? They're like a German group or something, or an EU
I think
group,
so.
maybe? Which is really funny because
1 second. I'm going to head out. I'm going to start streaming. I will catch you guys later. Thanks for inviting
See
me.
you, Brisk.
Thank you very much for coming by, Brisk.
Thanks for hanging out.
We'll come and raid you when we're finished.
Very good.
If we can figure out how to do it.
Hey, not even a thank you. Just very good. Yeah, you know.
I know. I can't remember where I heard that from. Anyway, but at the end of the day, like I just always thought Combat Wombat was Australian because like
it's a wombat,
the animal.
But they're not Australian. That's right. I remember that part. But they're a small group. And I know purple helmeted warriors are not newer, but they're still small.
That's an interesting name, Don. Where do you think they got that name from?
Oh, God.
Purple Helmet Warriors came out of Pravi, right? They were fighting Pravi for a while.
Weren't there like a PL holding corp at one point and we killed their Keepstar in Jane Leb like 5 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, for the majority
EQ
of the
have
time,
been around for like ages. They used to be primarily a low set group that would just drop on random supercaps and things. They've been supercap hunters for
I knew that they weren't
amount
new.
of time.
So
like
they were
hunting
helmeted
things out.
warriors. The purple helmeted warriors Keepstar, the one in Jane Leb, is actually the first kill mail on my Zekiel.
Yeah, somebody said in chat there the purple helmeted warriors. They must be Minnesota Vikings fans.
Oh, fucking Vikings, get out! If you're a Vikings fan, like,
I'm not really sure that that's the reference that they were going
like,
for,
we don't,
though.
we don't want you here. We don't like your
Hey,
kind.
no, I need your views. Stay. Don't listen to him.
Rocket X sounds like a really rabid NFL fan, I suppose. I would doubt it, but I mean, it's possible.
That's an interesting topic, maybe for one Theta Thursday. Like, what's in a name? We can break down all the different corporations' names.
Oh no.
Maybe we'll see.
And find out how they derived their names, what they derived it from, or how they dreamed it up.
I look forward to you
Wangs
starting.
No. About that.
Like I look forward to Greg starting with Goonswarm Federation.
How did Goonswarm get its name?
Digging into the fucking $10 bond that exists there.
$10.
I never paid my $10. I got vouched. I'm not a quote unquote true goon because
all I did was send Jay a lot of memes, and he's like, "Hey, you want to join Goonloft?" And I said, "Sure."
Speaking of goons, you guys probably don't want to talk about the evolution stealing the name thing.
Oh no, really, we should.
I heard something about that. Matterall was breaking
really
that down in great,
Please.
frustrating detail.
What happened?
Loki, tell us the story of what happened to Goonswarm.
I don't know, dude. So, like, originally, Bob, there was a director that was, like a spy or whatever, or he traded or he did something. And anyway, somehow, some dudes and goons ended up with the Alliance name, like Band of Brothers Alliance name, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I wasn't around at this point in the game. So anyway, that happened. And then earlier this week, a couple dudes from Evolution, which was, I believe, like one of the main corps or the main corp.
It's a couple
It's
weeks ago,
Mole's
but
corp,
yeah, sure.
or a couple weeks ago, in Band of Brothers at the time, now are in NC Dot, and they apparently somebody forgot to pay something. I'm not entirely sure how that mechanic actually works, but they were able to get the actual like name, like the original name, Goonstorm Federation.
Right,
Is that
so
what happened? I don't fucking know. You tell the
this
story,
is where we wish that Innominate were around, because Innominate has been around for all of these stories and has all of the details. But
I could ping him.
ping away. But basically, Goonswarm used to be the Alliance, and it was stolen. I can't remember if it was the DJ's situation or if it was the cartoon situation.
I think it was cartoon.
Goonswarm was kind of stolen away, which is where Goonswarm Federation Alliance was born and Goonwaffer the Corp was born. And as a general result, and again, I wish Innominate were here to do it proper justice, but as Loki mentioned, we'd stolen the Executor Corp and as a result the Alliance name of Band of Brothers. Previously, I believe Peanut Smash owned the original Goonswarm, but in the last month or so, there's a monthly fee that you have to pay for your corporation name and to uphold an alliance. And so the Alliance name was made invalid because the regular monthly payment wasn't paid by whoever owned the corp. And somebody noticed this. They picked up on it. They went, "Hey, I quite fancy having the Goonswarm Corporation name." And this has apparently now made its way to Sir Molly of Band of Brothers fame. It's a whole thing that also at the same time is not really a big deal, but it's quite interesting that that's the way the history has gone. Goonswarm disbanded Band of Brothers by taking the Alliance, taking the name, and then Cartoon forced, according to Moomin in Twitch chat, it was Cartoon that stole it, and he disbanded the Alliance. According to Cartoon, You know, the original Goon Swarm name was basically disbanded, and now we're at a completely different Goon Swarm Federation compared to the original Goon Swarm, and we're still having these discussions.
Goon Swarm started out as a corporation, didn't it?
Yeah, in a similar fashion as the current Goonwaff. Goonwaff is modeled on roughly the same principles as the original Goon Swarm. But the original Goon Swarm Corp also came with the original Goon Swarm Alliance, which is why we are now Goon Swarm Federation.
Yeah, Matterall, I think he's got a YouTube video up based on his stream, whatever his stream's called, and it breaks it down in great detail with charts, graphs, and infographics.
You know what the best thing about that Matterall video is?
No, what?
He did the thing in Discord chat, which means that he had people lighting up with their Discord names in the video, and a couple of them had tickers. One of them was SecBet, or words to that effect. I could probably find the name given a couple of minutes. But he had a Goons ticker, and Matterall was talking about the things that this SecBet was talking about as if he was one of the original Goons. He's a member of Evolution and has been since 2013.
Oh, man.
There was something that they had a show either
Skebbit,
this
there we
week.
go. Moomin has it.
They had a show this week
Moomin's
that was
on point tonight. Get in here, Moomin.
Moomin is the king of or the master of truthiness.
Moomin, you have an open invite, by the way, for Theta Thursday if you want to pop on.
There were some NC guys like bitching about their like hatred of Goon Swarm for like an hour or something on one of the talking station shows this week. Like, a surprise. NC have a hate boundary and won't get over it.
Well, I mean,
it's just like
some of the older players, like so when Skirbert or whatever the hell his name is was on like TIS, I watched that. So he's one of the Evolution dudes who was involved in the whole taking of the name and all that shit. You could kind of tell like he was memeing a lot, but you can kind of tell like there's some deep rooted like anger directed towards what was like the old Goons before Matani took it over and turned into what it is now. Pretty interesting. Like the older players seem to really harbor these grudges a lot more, and then what you got is that kind of influencing the rest of everybody. And like at the end of the day, like I don't really care, man. Like when I was a noob, it was like, oh, nobody likes the Goons in this group that I'm with. Okay, Goons, and we were just, you just dislike Goons, fuck Goons, whatever. And that's just kind of how we did. I went to PanFam, I FC and all this. At a certain point, it's like, it's a PvP game. Everybody kind of needs to grow up a little bit. On both sides, we're all kind of pretty much the same demographic of people. And you don't really see this until somebody attacks Eve in a certain way. Like if there's ever any incident on Reddit where somebody goes after Eve as a game, you're going to get everybody just making this guy's day hell, right? And like, so, I mean, at the end of the day, like, yes, we can kind of buy into all the propaganda and all this stuff, which kind of makes Eve unique and cool and whatever, and the politics and all that stuff. But I think it's important not to lose sight of the fact that like we're pretty much the same demographic of people at the end of the day. We're a bunch of space nerds and stuff like that. So like, I don't know.
Kumbaya.
Oh, that's a really interesting point, because definitely when I used to be out in the drone lands, then I went to wormholes and my wormhole group got evicted and kind of fell apart because the CEO had real life stuff that he was focusing on at the same time. That's just how these things go sometimes. But I wouldn't have joined Goons without like a friend of mine at the time dragging me in. There was that whole like anti-Goon rhetoric going on, and then I joined, and honestly, in terms of the way I play this game, it's probably been the best decision that I've made about Eve.
That was the same way with me when I first started Eve in Pravi Block, and I started hearing the history of Goons and the whole Gurgoon aspect. I went to my dad and I said, "Hey, I think I want to join Goon Swarm." And my dad goes, "Why the hell in God's name would you want to join Goon Swarm?" And then I met Mike Flood in the Karma Fleet recruitment channel. And then 2 days later, I ended up joining Karma Fleet.
Nice job.
And we've never been able to get rid of you since.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, I find personally, like, I don't know, like there are players in this game that I don't like, right? And I go out of my way to kind of make their lives hard when I can. But
Ragnar is like the queen of that.
Right, but like
you want to talk about petty bullshit? Ragnar is the queen.
Yeah,
he got his nails did. Okay, like he's ready to scratch some bitch's eyes out all the time.
That's hilarious.
And when it comes to reporting stuff, like, so
Yeah, know
when they introduced I quite think the rules are bullshit on Reddit. Like, oh, you can't post like shitty memes except on Monday. Yeah. I have abused that to no end. Every single pro-Pappy meme or propaganda I see, I report.
Yeah, we know.
And I check back to make sure they get taken down, and like most of the time they do, and it's pretty great.
I'm amazed you haven't been banned from Reddit yet, Ragnar. I'll be honest.
For what?
You think you won't make more?
Dude, the rules are fucking subjective.
The pettiest bitch.
The rules are so subjective, and as long as you have plausible deniability, you're fine.
The rules are subjective everywhere for everything. Like,
yeah, but they said no low quality. They say no low quality meme. What makes it low quality? They don't like put specific bullet points. They just state no low quality meme. So it differs to which person what's a low quality meme, right?
Yes, it's subjective.
So it's super subjective, and it's easy to abuse.
Because you think that every Pappy meme is a low quality meme.
No, it's because they're Pappy memes. That's why I'm reporting them.
He's not saying he's not a vindictive bitch. Ragnar is the queen of being a petty bitch.
Yeah. And
if you read the rule, like if you actually go to the subreddit, and you actually look into the rules, there's a way that you can, if you click on the rule, it will expand it and usually have a description. And if I remember correctly off the top of my head, the low effort meme rule is anything that counts as a reaction, copy and paste, or some type of meme that does not include any kind of Eve assets or Eve notions, that kind of thing.
That's bullshit, because I've posted, or other people on both sides have posted like screenshots from the game, which are clearly Eve assets with stuff added to it, and they've still removed it. So,
was it on Monday? During the designated day?
No, it wasn't on Monday.
That's why.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I report all the shitty memes. I don't report them on Mondays because, like, oh, who the fuck cares? It's Monday. I report them every single other day of the week.
All good memes should involve cats.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
Speaking of cats, Bruden, if you want to check your whispers.
I was gonna say, I didn't realize the Bruden joined the
every
chat
time I can get back at Pappy and be super petty, I do it.
Bruden's got some stuff to do, otherwise I'd have poked Greg to drag him in already. For those who don't know, Bruden is running for CSM this year, as and when CCP open that up and elections are announced. But Bruden also runs our Karma Fleet University group, which is going from absolutely fantastic strength to strength. And the man just loves trying to teach people. He really does. He's the best kind of guy for that. So, yeah. Massive props to Bruden, and if you see him in Twitch chat, just throw him a pancake cat. He loves that.
Well, that's always fun. What was the other thing that came up? Well, I guess the only other thing that I necessarily want to go over with our time today is any kind of ideas of how things are going to go for the next month, 2 months, 4 months, 5 months.
So what I think is going to happen is pretty much a lot of people are talking about what's going to happen when PanFam leaves and it's just legacy and all these things. And the big thing is that when a lot of people are looking at that type of situation, which has been the big heated topic of debate for how the long run of this war is going to go down, is that they're not going to leave They're going to leave sooner rather than later, but it's not going to be something that we're going to see in the next 2 to 3 weeks, because PanFam and NC Dot, they're all here for the content. They're here to burn as many structures as possible, to burn the goon economy to the ground, so that we're left with nothing but NPC delve.
Right.
That's what they're here for.
That's an interesting idea, because, you know, the idea of burning our economy to the ground so that we're left with nothing but NPC delve still leaves us with the major question
economy,
that,
yes.
No, it's the major question that I'm going to ask, Mifune. Where the fuck is 1DQ in that question?
Well, 1DQ, from my understanding, now we all know, as goons, 1DQ is basically almost impenetrable. Okay? From the Legacy Fortizar that sits on the iHub to the absolutely drastically dragged down time that it would take to take that iHub under the 10% tie-dye that we all know is going to be there. While that is impossible, Pappy does have somewhat of a plan to make 1DQ fall. Will we just randomly see a T5Z into 1DQ someday? No. Because they're going to do what every alliance does during an invasion, and they're going to burn everything around 1DQ, including the systems behind 1DQ, like MO and AWA. All of that's going to be burned, and then once all of that is owned by Pappy, and 1DQ is the only place that we have left, then they will make their assault into 1DQ.
Right.
Yeah, so speaking of future, I spent some time this weekend picking the delusional brain of some of the Pappy folks and really semi-confirmed it that PanFam doesn't ever intend to actually leave. That they will just keep jump clones down here, and that they're going to have a capital lease program.
That's a weird argument.
I'm not kidding. This was actually confirmed.
I appreciate that that's what's been said, but that's an interesting argument. Because
so you're telling me that they're going to stay blue to test?
Oh no, they're going to leave to go back to their space if they want to. But if we ever try to attack test, they'll just jump clone back down and immediately try to keep us held down. Or they're going to follow us wherever we go. So apparently Eve is going to be a giant blue donut.
That's a really hilarious argument to me as a diplomat, because
that is exactly what they said.
The way you treat your agreements is the way that you should be treated by other people. We were quite willing to continue the nip with Legacy for as long as that would last. You know, the idea that Legacy were the ones who decided, hey, we've had enough of this, we want to side with PanFam, we want to invade Delve, that's fair for Legacy, but we were quite happy to continue on with our nip there. And we have a history of our diplomatic situation. We will stand by the agreements that we make. If we sign on the dotted line, you can trust that Goonswarm will stick to the terms of the agreement. And this also applies to things like the Tranquility Trade Consortium. We signed on the dotted line about our involvement with Igniton, with Perimeter, with Ashab. These things are situations where, if we need to, we will send fleets to defend these situations. And those situations in HiSec are very different to our nullsec conflicts. PanFam Legacy, they have no history like that. They haven't spent their time in this game building on their reputation in that way. So if Legacy and PanFam really want to spend their time this way, that's fine. You know, when it comes to Goonswarm and the Imperium, even if we're forced out of Delve, we are a community first and foremost. We'll find a way to rebuild. But if either side Legacy or PanFam really believes that the other will stick to this in the long term, that's going to be a major question for those leadership groups. It's going to be I would hope, at least I would think if I were in their situation, that for any diplomats on either side, there's always going to be a question to be asked about Legacy from PanFam or PanFam from Legacy. Which side is going to turn first? Which side is going to take the lend-lease and just not give it back? Which side is going to take the capitals that are offered?
Because that's what I asked them. I was like, do you expect PanFam to cut? Because, like I said, at some point PanFam will go home. It'll be just you and Delph. And then even if you kick us out of 1DQ and we wait 6 months, 8 months, I mean, dear God, with NC, we waited like 5 years to blow their shit up. Like, we're willing to wait. I was asking him, like, are you seriously expecting PanFam to fly all their supers back down to 1DQ if we start assaulting your keep stars? And they said, oh, we're just going to make sure that they are going to stay staged down here permanently to prevent us from attacking them.
If I may just break in for a little bit, some important news. The Winnipeg Jets and the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to overtime.
Interesting.
Apologies. I don't want to say go to either of those teams, so I guess it gives a shit.
Apologies for my slight little disconnect there. The cat decided to jump on the laptop and restart the laptop because she wants to grab my attention that it's apparently playtime. So here I am.
Give the cat your attention.
I'm giving her my attention, and now she's walking around. Yeah, I know. She would have started screaming if I didn't start giving her attention.
I just want to know why. So, and the thing is, I was calling Jeremy, because I was arguing with Jeremy originally about this. I was like, you're delusional.
Jeremy?
There's no... Yeah, I know, right? But...
Which Jeremy? Who is Jeremy?
Jeremy Andrade or whatever. He's one of the FCs for test. He thinks he knows how to FC.
Oh, right. He's one of those guys. Okay,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, right. So he's telling me all this delusional shit about how PanFam's going to come down and make sure that Goonswarm can't, ever attack Legacy freely. And then I said, okay, well, even if you guys blow up 1DQ, we can still asset safety to Ermel. And he's like, oh, well, we'll just hick bubble you. And I'm sitting there going... How are you going to?
It goes to Losag, yeah.
I was like, how are you going to hick bubble Ermelin? He's like, oh, we have a keep star in the same system. Like, how do you hick bubble Ermelin?
That's not how that works.
You can
that's a mechanic, sure. Why not?
You can camp this. You can camp the station with Hicks, like that. That'll work, I guess.
But when you undock, but the thing is, when you undock, you have invulnerability window that you can just right click jump. So. Correct. Even putting people there, you might catch a couple because of black screens and loading times and stuff. That's always possible, but it's not going to be some giant like turkey barrel shoot.
Well, here's the thing about low-sec nodes that you guys might not know, but they're not very good. And so actually, if you created this situation, like this is all obviously hypothetical, but if you create a situation with enough, like a couple hundred dudes would actually create tie-dye, like you could potentially create a situation where you might catch some Titans. Just gonna say.
We've had some experience with low-sec.
And tie-dye
by Snuff or what?
We did low-sec a couple of years ago in Hakonen, and we figured out what the fuck was going on there.
Crime Watch sucks.
And how did that go?
It went fine.
Yeah, it went really well for us. Thanks for asking.
It went fine. We didn't lose
problems
that much
whatsoever.
They didn't lose much.
Was that the one where Snuff like stomped on you, or
no? That was the one where we didn't That was the one where we didn't take any supers. We just took
capitals and dreads. And they were useless against Titans and supers.
Yeah.
Apparently,
really
even if you have double the capitals they do, it doesn't matter because supers and Titans at the time were so tanky they just obliterated you before you could get through one. Faxes were. This is before the 6 fax nerfs. So
it was a fun time in which we had one really great big fight, and otherwise we came home.
Yeah. It was my first war ever. That's when I learned how to logi anchor, which is fun.
The tie-dye, yeah, we learned
Crime
how
Watch was awful.
tie-dye worked with that shit, and
but
well.
Yeah, so he's telling me how they're gonna hick bubble the station, which I was just like kept asking him in low sec, and he just woof. I'm like, okay, anyways.
Look,
and then I said, and then we'll just jump away somewhere.
Dawn, nullsec FCs don't need to know how lowsec works.
I
Standings
know.
mechanics are worthless by and large. Gate guns have no impact whatsoever, and everything is exactly the same otherwise. There is no difference. That's it.
I know.
That's how lowsec works.
Bring lots of sabers.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And bombers, sabers and bombers.
Max bombers, max bubbles.
Yeah, no, it was so I'm just like, okay. And then he's talking about the how NC is gonna stay staged and that they've got dreads for days staged in NPC Delve. And I'm like, bitch, that's been like that forever. That's nothing new. Be unique at least.
Look, I mean, he's a very excitable young man, right? Like it's whatever. Now, to all of those, I mean, so it sounds like from the way things are going, you guys are in for a little bit of an infinity war with Pappy. So for all pilots who might be dissatisfied with this content moving forward, please know the Banana Republic is recruiting.
You don't get to advertise recruitment on my show. You can do that on.
Come on. Then
you
why
do that
else,
during peacetime.
During
peacetime.
I want to explain to Goon. Well, yeah, but I'm again, like I've explained, I'm on the third side, so don't worry.
He's a fair point. Like, you know, let him.
Don't get me wrong here.
We've had his pilots. That's fine. But as a serious question, actually, you know, we know that actual point bubbles don't work. You know, dicta bubbles, the traditional sort, don't work. I'm honestly curious. I've not looked into this. I've not done the testing or anything. Do web bubbles work in lowsec?
I think so. I don't think you can do an interdiction probe at all.
Actually,
because I would assume that Snuff would have already used them if they could.
I'm just honestly curious. I haven't looked into it.
I don't know how that would affect a Titan.
In this
room. You can't.
You can show info and someone can actually look, but probably not.
I'm not logged
apparently,
in.
BRRC in Twitch chat says no, they do not. That's a shame.
Would have been funny though, right? So
not even. It would just been interesting. It would have been an interesting change to the mechanics. It would have been a curious thing.
So,
but you know, CCP would have to actually understand what the hell their players want from the game to enable interesting and fun new mechanics.
The other thing. So I said, you know, we'll just put a keep star down. You know, I'm just shooting the shit with them and like throwing things out. I'm like, we could put a keep star down in NPC Delve. And he's like, how? We'll just kill it. I'm like, oh, you're going to actually put your Titans and Supers on the table? With Test, we have double your super fleet. If you tried that, it would be suicide on your part. And he's like, oh, well, NC and them would never let you guys get one down, blah, 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 blah. I'm like,
well, to be fair, they did put their Titans on the table a couple of weeks ago.
And then got their...
You guys hellcamped them, but...
Yeah.
For 2 straight months.
You gotta hand it to them though. Like at least they did put their Titans on the table. Like they did.
No, I love how Loki says it was a couple of weeks ago, as if this wasn't.
I don't know, dude. Like I'm not fucking
dude.
like time. I don't map this shit out. I'm doing other stuff. I'm a busy guy. Okay.
No, Loki. I wouldn't have an idea of how long this has been unless I was looking at my calendar, right? But it has been somewhere in the region of 10 weeks since they put their dicks on the table with that one.
Time dilation exists.
But it was
10 weeks.
So that was the actually it's been 8 weeks because it was the end of December, first weekend in January. But they are. So I just found it funny that he's saying that they would never let us anchor a keep star. Okay, then 10 weeks. Anyways,
this is good. I like that.
Yeah, 10 weeks.
Sure.
I wasn't joking there, Dawn.
I thought you said 6.
Fun. I said 10.
No, he said 10.
Okay, then
10 weeks.
Your accent makes things hard to understand, okay? Detail.
Yeah, he's not speaking real English. He's not speaking real English, so we didn't understand him.
I'm sorry, I had to translate.
The word 10 sounds the same, but whatever.
So
10,
anyways,
6,
they said that
10,
they would...
6.
And this is all like obviously me being like glass half empty, you know, like everything's dead in Delve, something like that. I always try to I'm more of the pessimist / what's the worst that could happen, so I can mentally prepare myself in case something like that does. Right?
The worst that can
That's just how I
happen is
am.
we go back to Losec. Dawn.
Right, exactly.
We
I know.
We go back to Losec, we spend time in Losec, we find somewhere else to move to, and we rebuild as a community.
Right.
That's our deal. Also, hello Caleb, fresh from TIS.
Hey,
welcome
Caleb.
to the Sane channel.
Hi guys.
I'm not done. Okay, so he said, Jeremy's like, we'll never let you put a Keepstar down in NPC Delve. I'm like, bitch, what you gonna stop us with? Are you gonna throw 2 trillion worth of subcaps at us to kill us or to kill the thing? I don't think so. He's like, oh, we'll just use our supers and titans. I'm like, even with half our fleet, we are still bigger than you, so suck it. And like, and then he just started saying how NC's gonna come down and you know, just make sure that we can't do it, blah 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 blah. And I was like, you're so full of shit. But then Billy right after was like, no, Don, Jeremy's got it pretty close to what would really happen. And I'm like, oh my god, they think that them and PanFam are just gonna stay together just to make sure that Goonswarm can't do anything.
The fact that you are surprised at this,
I just
at this point, Dawn.
I just explained this on TIS.
God,
no, Caleb, you don't get to talk about that shit show here.
No, but I just exactly that point. I was making pretty much exactly that point.
You get to talk about the points that you made. You don't get to talk about where you made them because it's a shit show and we don't acknowledge them here.
We have some more breaking news coming in. It seems that the Toronto Maple Leafs have beaten the Winnipeg Jets 4-3 in overtime on a beautiful goal by Austin Matthews.
Oh, okay. So one tree beat another tree, and
no, he's a Leafs fan too.
The sap,
Jesus.
the sap has been beaten out of one team. As it turns out, the sap was literally just hammering a tree tap into a tree and then taking that from them.
What the fuck are you talking about, bud?
I don't know. Anyways, Caleb, what was your point?
You were the one
related
talking about,
to my point.
Something oak and other thing maple, and there we go. Caleb, you were talking about...
It was exactly the same. It was, the band will stay together. No, it won't. The band will not stay together.
They say that they'll stay together only when we try to get uppity, that they're going to come back down to Delve and keep us from getting uppity.
Dawn, you seem to misunderstand the premise of a Lend-Lease program. Caleb, do you want to explain the premise of a Lend-Lease program?
Yeah, that's the other thing that they're going to do. They're going to lend-lease capitals on both sides of the system of Eve together.
Yeah, I'd really like Caleb to understand the principle, to explain the principle of a Lend-Lease program before we start talking about, people are going to lend capitals on one side or the other. Yeah. What does a Lend-Lease mean, Caleb?
I have no clue. I don't know the context.
I'm gonna beat you, Caleb.
Okay,
what does a Lend-Lease mean?
They're gonna they're gonna lend/lease it out, is what they're doing.
What?
Supposedly.
What?
So
what?
This is per Jeremy, with Villy not stopping him. I'm pretty sure Villy basically confirmed it too. What they're gonna do is they're gonna have a super fleet in test side of the galaxy big enough to hand out ships, and then PanFam's gonna have their side big enough to hand out, so that way if goons try to attack either side, they can just jump clone down, hand out the ships, pew pew pew, and then turn the ships back in and go home when they're done. That's their plan, apparently.
So I can't see anything bad happening there.
I was like, what?
A Lend-Lease is when you are essentially giving materials and services to another entity or your allies in a war, under the understanding that those things will be repaid in kind after the war is over.
So a war on credit.
Line members have to pay
so
for this?
It's very similar to so the reference is literally directly what the US did with Europe, essentially.
It's a World War II reference.
During World War II, yeah, exactly.
Basically the Americans provided the British, the French, other allied groups with tanks, with guns, in some situations with planes, etc. And basically the thing was, hey, use this material to build to beat the Nazis. If you don't beat the Nazis, then
you don't have to pay it back.
Fine. you don't have to pay it back. But if you do beat the Nazis, then we'll figure out a way in which you pay it back over whatever time frame.
But
as it turns out, the Lend-Lease Act wasn't paid back on across the various places that it was paid out to until the 1980s.
Well, wasn't it also part of that plan that after the war, they then, in the Marshall Plan, they lend us the money to pay them back?
I'd have to double check the Marshall Plan, but I know for a fact that the UK paid back the Lend-Lease in the 1980s. That was when we figured that out.
So you're basically saying that the entirety of Europe fucking walked all over the United States?
No, got
not at all.
Trampled by the United States.
Yeah, there was
here we're
interest
going to supply you
involved.
with the materials, and you're going to pay for it, and you're going to pay for it with the loan that we're going to give you that you're going to pay interest on, so you're not going to be able to finish paying those loans until 1980.
Exactly. So I think it was pretty good of the United States to do that for their buddies and come out ahead, massively ahead.
The point is, that's your allegory here. That's your comparison here. You're talking about Legacy and PanFam going home to their respective space and doing Lend-Lease for wherever the Imperium attacks next. They're worried about us so much that they're talking about lending each other capital assets.
Can I just say something?
Before we've even lost.
I think before Pappy tries to come up with these very smart plans that entails financial and economic factors. Well, because there could be things like these could work. I just think that maybe they should get some better financial advisors and maybe build a cabal of actual experts instead of letting people like Icy and Goblins and really run these things, because they're not really known for being the smartest guys in finance.
I'd almost
hell, you could even ask Elise. At least she's like got a background in this stuff. So I'm just saying, maybe if you want to think like a cabal, make a cabal.
Further question on that, Caleb. What do you think about war bonds?
What you mean? The fact that I suggested it to Aerith in the fat years, and they laughed at me.
No.
I suggested it in the beginning of this war, and I was
what do you think about war bonds in the current situation? I don't want to talk about history. I want to talk about war bonds now. What do you think about war bonds right now?
They're saving us.
No, just generally, not with specific, saving us, saving them, whatever. War bonds in the current situation. What do you think?
I think war bonds is always a good idea. It's an awesome idea.
If you've got the capital to work with and you are confident.
Well, it's more if you need that liquidity desperately, and the alternative is that your group dies, then you should definitely buy war bonds. You should support the effort. This is very much a British thing, Dirk, as you well know.
I just find it funny. Like, now, granted, Billy and them could literally on Tuesday be like, oh, we'll never do a Lend-Lease program. I'm just letting you know what my conversation was. It is available in the Trash Talk Tuesday Discord way back. You'll have to find it. But if you type in the words Lend-Lease or Lend, you could probably find exactly what we were talking about all this stuff. It's in the battle report section. And then we got yelled at for having like an hour-long conversation in the battle report section. But it's just
me. I think it sounds more like some sort of Super and Titans timeshare solution. I don't know.
That's basically what it sounds like. That they're just gonna. I'm like, how are you gonna? It takes both of you guys to be with us to have a fleet big enough to try and rival ours. So what makes you think that like you can have two of them across the galaxy with no minerals and no money?
As a financial analyst, I'm just going to say, people that come up with things like this, don't buy their shares. Do not buy their shares. These people are poor.
Again, on the topic of war bonds, perhaps, Caleb?
Mm-hmm.
So it was just funny, and it was a good time.
Don't get me wrong. Pappy has a lot of people, a lot of man hours. They also have a lot of people that are pretty good at Eve.
Well, okay, go on.
Okay, but to me, it sounds like they're all 2 steps from being brave. As in,
Wait,
brave,
what does that
broke.
mean? As in bankrupt?
As in broke. As in has no money, only a Titan.
I just want to know where Braves. I just want to know where Braves getting any money for the iHubs they put down.
It's like
it's daddy test for sure.
There's a realistic answer to that, Dawn, and that is that they are receiving value.
Do you think they're finally getting some cash money?
No. They're getting nice Swedish petting.
Caleb, why didn't I know that you were ever a goon? How long have you been a goon?
He's not
Caleb?
a goon.
He's not a goon.
He just
he's
said
not a goon.
They would save us, like meaning
he's
you.
He's so used to it, but he actually runs his own third-party alliance up in like HiSec or something. He's not a goon at all. He just he's an honorary goon.
Caleb has the unfortunate situation of being both an Anglophile and somebody who appreciates a well-run organization.
And this is how I became a fan of goons and how I joined the INN.
He's a fangirl.
So I hate to interrupt, but for the past like 8 minutes, I've been trying to figure out what this cat is like wanting to do and like what toys she wants to play with. And I finally figured out it's her scratching post all the way in the corner of the room. So I move all the crap aside. She runs straight to the scratching post, scratches it for about 3 seconds, and then walks away from it.
Isn't that how you fight, Dawn?
What? Scratching posts?
Wow.
Running up to it and just scratching it for 3 seconds and then running off again.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
We've almost missed a big segment on the show. It's Doc's Heckard's segment. Holy shit, an officer spawn. All right, Docs, take it away. What did you get this week, buddy?
Jesus.
There are no officer spawns in World of Warcraft.
He's been wowing all week, so
oh my god,
you're gonna have to spend your
So Docs, this is why you resigned to play World of Warcraft.
I didn't resign. I'm on a break.
Well, at least do something constructive like Dave and go and post on Reddit then.
But that's constructive.
Well, if you want to get dirty, might as well get fully dirty.
Dirk, don't you have your angler games or something?
Yes, indeed. Actually, we've got a new update for the Angler Games. I've been in the middle of a Reddit post for this for the last couple of hours. I was writing it while Greg decided, hey, Dirk, you should come on the show. So there we go. You guys get an advance copy. We will have the first of the Angler Games open practices live on twitch.tv/event coming up this weekend on Saturday starting at 2000 Eve.
Or are we like casting it too, or
casting
it will be
couch?
It will be casted. We'll have commentary. It's going to be the first trial run for our full stream setup, which may have some technical issues, but we'll see how things go.
Hey, it can't be any worse than our show. So.
There will be eight teams fighting each other. The aim is to have the stream going for about 2 hours with commentary for all of the matches. We've also, or we will also be releasing the details for adverts in the next 12 hours once I have a chance to write them. Thanks, Greg. And yeah, just generally the Angler Games is going from strength to strength. I hate you, Dawn, with a passion. just generally, Angler Games is going to be a fantastic event happening in late April and early May. It starts on April 24th at roughly 18:30 Eve. Just generally, like, tune in on the EVNT channel when we go live with this tournament. It's going to be a ton of fun. And again, Reddit post and EVE Online official forum post to come about actual adverts for the Twitch stream.
Well, that sounds very interesting. Definitely something that everyone should check out. Will there be prizes for the viewers, for people watching the Twitch stream?
For Twitch streams, we're not sure about this particular opens, but we've got a bunch of random shit that we've been gifted that we will probably turn into giveaways. You know, a few odd skins, various player character apparel, things like that. We'll figure out a way to give that out fairly to people. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're still working on a bunch of the logistics, but by and large, 32 teams duking it out in an arena for Plex, for skins, and just generally to prove that they know how to fly spaceships within a certain area.
Now, is Dreadbomb got a team? Loki?
I don't believe so. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think we do.
And don't worry, it's going to be exactly the same level of production quality and professionalism that you're used to from the Imperium.
Look, it will hopefully be slightly better. We're not gonna say significantly better or vastly better. We're looking for slightly better, if only because we will have different scenes for different situations.
Are you going to be narrating it, Dirk?
I might do some commentary, but mostly I'm involved in the behind the scenes stuff. Again, the reason that we don't have a Reddit post, an EVE Online official forum post, things like that, is because I was in the middle of writing it when Greg pinged me to come on the show. So I do a lot of the background stuff at the minute. But it should be really fun. We do have Brisk Rubal as a commentator, whether or not he manages to drag his hillbilly cousin Fountain Frank along. Very different question. Also, I do want to just real quick, Setsuna Omega, what is wrong with the Anger Games website? I'm honestly, I haven't looked at that website in about 3 weeks, so please just give me some details on that. Any other questions on the Anger Games?
So, how much these advertisements? Please, tell us more.
Adverts will be free. We have some technical specifications that, again, will be released when I can write a Reddit post, Greg. But they will be free. They will not cost anyone anything. We don't guarantee that anybody will have them run, because obviously we're not asking you to pay for them. But as various gaps in our schedule occur, so for example, if a match only lasts 4 minutes between two teams, and we've got like 10 to 15 minutes scheduled, we'll run a few ads there. It's one of those situations where we won't charge you for submitting them as long as they are within our specifications. We'll throw them into the rotation, and we'll try and get them run as often as possible for in-game organizations. You don't have to be running a team in the Anger Games to run an advert. You could be a corporation. I wish Breeden was still watching, but I'd love to see a KFU advert. I'd love to see, Loki throw a Dreadbomb advert around. Just generally,
Loki, you can advertise you and the Combat Wombats.
I just want everyone to know that my corp is recruiting, so I'll make sure they get an ad out that states that specifically for you.
Yeah.
Who do I talk to? I talk to you or
what? There'll be some official stuff once I get to post the thing, Greg. But,
blaming your procrastination on me isn't going very far.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Should have been done last week, buddy.
Loki specifically, Loki, you can PM me.
Aw, thanks.
I guess you could say the post is being dirked.
I hate you.
Very good, Docs. Very good.
I hate you with a passion, Mr. I retired.
So we have to end the show, and because there's other things going on too. Dirk, you've already had your final thought, so
whoa.
It lasted for 10 minutes.
I was not informed of this situation.
Anyways, we're gonna start at the top and work our way down. Villa, you've been hanging out today. I appreciate you being here. You were nice and chill. Any final thoughts for our viewers?
Letting me on here. I'm not used to being on air, so I'm not real sure what to say, to be real honest with you.
Do you want to give a shout out to your group? Do you want to, give the stink eye to somebody? You want to give us a recipe advice?
Maybe next time. I'll be more prepared next time.
You had 2 hours.
That's true. You're not wrong. I was listening intently, though. I love it.
Really, just bully docs.
Yeah. Caleb, final thought? Only thought, really?
Well, I do have one
Go
because I
ahead.
didn't prepare anything, so I'm not going to take us down a path. But anyone that hasn't done this yet, go and read the Saga of Delta Squad Part 2.
Oh, God.
That stuff is so good. It's on
Okay.
INN.
Where would you go? Okay, INN.
You might want to provide a link to that, Caleb, if you're gonna.
He said he wasn't prepared.
Says the editor.
I'm intrigued
that
already.
most likely, actually.
Hey, look! I'm not the one talking it up. You.
It's so good. It's really good. It's got the horrendous seal of approval. It's top notch RP and narrative drama. It's really.
Am
good.
I in it?
I don't think they've gotten around to the slightly lewd parts yet. I think that might be in part 3.
Poor Caleb. He read my story.
Which one?
Yeah, no,
the first one.
I can very honestly say that will not be published.
Hey, it's good quality. Anyways,
No,
so Dirk's already had his final thought. Docs, any final thoughts?
Not really.
Okay, Dirk, you can have Docs' final thought.
I'll take Dox's and say, look, Angler Game.
Oh my God, he said
Dawn, I'm
Angler
gonna
Game.
beat you. Dawn, I'm actually gonna find a club and beat you. Angler Games open practices happening tomorrow on the EveNT Twitch channel, 2000 Eve. Commentated. It's gonna be a ton of fun.
It's a weird final
Saturday.
thought for me to have,
No, I
but
thought
okay.
it was, yeah,
It's Saturday.
It's Friday. It's 3 a.m. Friday. Fuck you.
Not in a new world, it ain't.
Saturday.
Saturday,
That's a Saturday.
2000 Eve, EveNT Switch channel.
I don't know.
It's gonna
I'll
be
just
great.
see a ping.
There we
I'm
go.
sure.
Fucking
Greg, any final thoughts for the
Dawn.
evening?
Indeed. I want everybody to keep on the lookout for a forums post and other contacts for. We're going to be having in the next couple of weeks a Theta Thursday special, and it's going to be a Theta Thursday variety / talent show. So everyone's going to have, I haven't decided on what the time limit is, but we're going to have some pretty awesome prizes, and everyone can come on who wants to come on and perform their talent, whether it be playing the kazoo with their bum or
oh, that's so cool.
Whether it be singing or maybe like some stand-up comedy, which stand-up comedy has to be vetted, by the way. So we don't want any.
I just want to point out any camera shots will have to be pre-vetted as well.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's true too. We have to make sure we don't get any homegrown. But it should be fun, anyways.
Kazoo with your butt. You have to have that vetted as a camera shot.
That'd have to be off camera.
I don't know, and I never know what's going on anymore. Anyways, Loki, final thought?
Yeah, I don't know. Check out Trash Talk Tuesdays every Tuesday at 0200 Eve time.
So speaking of other shows, can I ask a small question? Did this show actually cover the Moomin versus Redline copyright case?
No, not specifically.
Okay.
Oh, I wasn't even aware that there was a thing going on.
There is a question happening about whether or not Redline posted a Moomin plagiarization earlier on this week. Moomin being a bastion of uniqueness and truthiness.
I see. So by the way, it's actually like Tuesday nights US. So technically, I guess to be fair,
Wednesday morning
it's
for the
Wednesday
British.
at 0200 UTC. Yeah.
It's like midnight. Mifune, any final thoughts for the evening?
Well, the good news is I got a job today, so whoopee. The other good news, my best friend got his shift changed for next week, so y'all will get to see him in the background next week, which will be fun.
For everyone
before the question starts, I've already had him try Eve. He's hated it. I haven't been able to get him to play it since.
So you think listening to us talk about it will help this situation?
He'll be a fun guest on the show. We'll find out why he does not like Eve.
Mifune, are you planning on banging him instead of the cat then?
No, just as a
whoa.
We're not going anywhere near that, but we do also want to acknowledge Moomin, who congratulates Mifune there. Moomin congratulating Mifune on becoming a hooker.
Absolutely.
Hey. A life goal is to get paid for what you love. No king shaming.
Sex work is not to be shamed.
Sex work is work. Sex work is work.
Ragnar, any final thoughts?
Yes. 1, Mad Cows needs ISK. 2, free Faux Hammer from Trash Talk Tuesday being banned. And 3, Pittsburgh is still racist. That's it.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Thank you for that. And my final thought is I absolutely love seeing Jeremy froth at the mouth that I don't bow to his great FC-ness. And it's fun to see Billy spill things that he probably shouldn't spill to me just because I act like I'm dumb, which is great. Other than that,
sorry.
You know, Faux Hammer's probably
Bitch!
just trolling you, right?
No, we
Hammer's
both
not
got
banned
banned.
anymore.
Is he not?
Everyone's
I remember
been unbanned.
from
Yeah,
Trash
everyone's
Talk.
been unbanned.
Okay, I wasn't aware.
So one of your goals has been fulfilled. Anyway.
All right. See, I come on Theta Thursday, and my demands are immediately met. That's what I like to see.
So
also, Dawn for CSM.
Ooh,
No,
that'd be
that's a
interesting.
terrible decision.
I would if I could, but
Caleb for CSM.
I couldn't.
Fuck that. Never doing that. Been there, done that. Don't want to go back.
So as we close out this week, folks, I don't have the ability apparently to actually use the Twitch stream to raid Brisk, but that's a link to Brisk's stream in chat, and if everybody want to go there and say hello from
excuse me while I find Brisk.
From the boys at Theta Thursday, boys and girls, and we really appreciate you guys coming out every week and listening to us shoot the shit. I know Dawn does. Dawn really likes it when people come and listen to her vent, and she's been having a little tough week. So maybe send her a message in game and maybe some ISK. That'd be appreciated.
Yeah, Dirk has had to hear some of it. Yeah, Dirk has had to listen to it. Poor Docs has listened to it at least 6 times. Mifune listened to it. Greg's listened to it. Makes me feel better.
I have.
I really don't.
And Ragnar
blame
listened to it
Dawn.
too.
I really don't blame Dawn for her, outlets. That's just how this goes. You yell at the people that you like, and unfortunately, Dawn likes us, which is well, a questionable decision.
It's I like a lot of people. Like, heck, I mean, even there are people on the other side that I like or at least enjoy being around or talking with, maybe not every time, but like I enjoy engaging with Billy and Jeremy and Redline and Rain and all of them because it does challenge me to have to like look stuff up or try to be better at things. And and I get to kind of see what they're thinking about and where they go from their side. Not everyone likes that.
Also,
I do.
I accept the challenge of making Dawn scream.
Oh my goodness. On that note, folks, have a great week. Thanks for coming out, and don't forget to hone your talents for Theta Thursday's Talent Spectacular Extravaganza Variety Show, which we will give you more information later this week. Take care and have a great day or night or whatever the hell it is.